Pedophilia is an unchangeable sexual orientation, just like, for example, heterosexuality.
I've made a prediction twice now that our culture is on a path towards accepting and normalizing paedophilia.
There is a new trend among liberals and the LGBT community wherein people are trying to humanize pedophilia and legitimize pedosexuality. There are people on social media who identify as MAPs, which stands for Minor Attracted Persons. A group named Virtuous Pedophiles holds a discussion forum for people who are attracted to children but do not want to act on it.
Vice talks of the hardships paedophiles face when being targeted by vigilantes and uses words like stigma to make you feel pity for child molesters. Salon does the same thing, asking readers not to judge paedophiles without first listening to them.
Well, I think there will be many of you telling me now, you know what, let's just ban all these people from society, let's just lock them all up and let's just leave them somewhere far away from our children. And from an emotional point of view, I can kind of understand what you're saying. From an emotional point of view, I can kind of understand that you would want to eliminate these people from society. However, it doesn't make sense. And that's because we're talking about biology. We're talking about a sexual orientation, something that we simply cannot change.
See, our culture's decided that the only value that we need is love. Therefore, if something is deemed a valid expression of love, then to this generation it must be a good thing. Man and a woman, two men, two women, three men, doesn't matter to this generation. Love is love. Love is all that matters, and no argument can stand against that in the postmodern era. You can counter-appeal to righteousness, you can counter-appeal to holiness, you can counter-appeal to truth and data and statistics, but none of it will matter. Our culture's decided that love has no connection to any of those other values, and these other values certainly don't hold as much weight. Therefore, if paedophiles can successfully convince the world that their proclivity is just a natural expression of love, that they were born that way, that they're just a poor, marginalized minority who just want to love, that's all they would need to do to turn the tide in their favor in this generation.
It is our responsibility to reflect and to overcome our negative feelings about pedophiles and to treat them with the same respect we treat other people with. We should accept that pedophiles are people who have not chosen their sexuality.
When people are literally fired from their jobs for having conservative opinions, and we have pedophiles who are free to make videos on YouTube about how their perversion is totally normal and healthy. People get banned from Twitter for expressing right-wing views, but pedophiles are allowed to openly advocate for the legalization of sex with toddlers without getting suspended. Absolutely sickening.
I feel like, society's like really like harsh on, anyone who is sexually attracted to kids. And, it kind of bugs me, like, everyone is just like so quick to judge. I think it would be really cool if like we could be more open about sex as a society, like with kids. And I think like if kids were introduced to sexual situations in like a non-threatening way, like not being forced on them, just like invited in, like I think we would find that people, like the kids would not have an issue with it. They'd probably just be curious and just be interested in it.
Yeah, the content of her video is her rambling on for quite a while about how pedophiles are not inherently evil or dangerous, and then she goes on to full-fledged endorse sexual acts with children. I mean, you heard her. And let's talk about something equally as disturbing perhaps. This video has more likes than dislikes. Like, just let that sink in. More people saw that video of her endorsing pedophilia and or sexual acts with children and said, this is a good video, I agree with that. This is what we're dealing with.
No one is responsible for their feelings, but everyone is responsible for their actions.
So you can hopefully see the insidious nature of what was being said there. The attempt to invoke sympathy, to say that it's natural, that they can't help how they feel, to say that they're born that way, to say that we're marginalising and excluding these poor people, and that we're the ones to blame for causing child sexual abuse because we're being mean to poor Jonas and other people like him. These are the exact same arguments that were once used to soften public opinion to gay marriage, and they're being used all over again. And my plea for this video is simply that we don't let this happen. Not this time. This is pure evil.
If there is not an effort to stop this, and the idea that this is a human rights issue moves forward, we could be causing untold damage to generations of children who should look to adults for protection, not live in fear of them or have sexual relationships with them. At this point, there is no reasoning with the left. We need to start rejecting their ideology completely. The left's end goal is to destroy the foundations of our society and the very fabric of Western civilization. Tolerance and apathy are the last virtues of a dying society.
Little children, it is the last time. And as ye have heard that an Antichrist shall come, even now are there many Antichrists, whereby we know that it is the last time.